Why, hello there. I'm Sin. We are in the Book Nook, and today we're going to talk about my past, present, and future of books, what I've finished, what I'm going to get into, and what's in the future of books. All right, so recently I finished the memoir of Junji Ito called Uncanny: The Origins of Fear. And this is just a fascinating look of his life. You get into like when he was younger, and growing up, what kind of led him to like his first experiences of like terror and horror and whatnot. And he says too, like a lot of the roads, the pools, the shrines, and tunnels, like where him and his friends grew up playing, a lot of that shows up in his manga. So I thought that was kind of cool. And he talks about this one house that he grew up in that was like weird, and it was built up on this hill, and there was this weird part of it which went like underground, and you had to go through this like underground part to get to the toilet, which was like a pit toilet. If you don't know what a pit toilet is, like if you've ever been camping, it's just usually like there's a toilet seat, maybe a bench, and there's just a hole. Probably stinks in there. But anyway, so he'd have to go in this underground hallway to get to his bathroom at night, and it was super scary because it's long and it's dark and it's underground and it's creepy. And then they also had this like forbidden room, which was just an old storage room, but like, it's like old old boxes and stuff like covered with things and like old screens, so like it could be hiding around a corner and whatnot. So his imagination would maybe run away with itself. So that was his first, like, I guess, experiences of horror and terror. And then, like, there's also a manga that he has featured that hallway from his youth. I don't think in the manga it actually went to a bathroom, it was something else. And just, getting into some of his influences, the manga that he read, and then finding other people like in his classes, like when he was in middle school age, that liked manga or drew it as well. And like he started drawing really young, and he would just fill up pages and pages of stuff and did it all throughout his life. Originally, he was going to just be a dental tech. And so he went to school to be a dental tech, and he did that for 3 years. But he also entered this manga contest for this magazine, and they chose his story for an honorable mention. And after that story, he ended up keeping submitting stories to the magazine, and eventually from there was able to go on and do it full time. And it's just a really fascinating look at his life. And then he also gets into how he crafts his stories with like the storyboards and coming up with an idea and having like weird elements to your horror, taking stuff from like animal traits and giving it to a human with like one of the first story that he entered that actually won was called Tomi. And Tomi could regenerate herself. So you cut her into pieces and she just keep regenerating. And yeah, so that was one of the ideas of his. I don't know if you've ever read Junji Ito. His artwork is weird and wondrous. If you like manga, definitely check him out. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading this book. It was cool. Like, I don't read a ton of biographies. I probably read like maybe 3 a year. But so far this year, this is my second one because I read Al Pacino's as well, which was great. So just finished that. And what I'm going to get into tonight, I talked about this book in a prior video. I like weird stuff. And this one I had talked about before, At the Bottom of the Garden by Diane Purkiss. And this is a story of, it's nonfiction, it's a dark history of fairies, hobgoblins, and other troublesome things. So I needed a little weird, like paranormal, strange, and mysterious book. This is from like, I think the early 2000s. This is an older book that I randomly stumbled across when I was searching for something else. I think I was searching for a horror that's coming out that I believe is called At the Bottom of the Garden. And in my library catalog, that did not come up, but this did. And I was like, well, I needed a weird book to read after reading about weird horror. I'm a super mood reader. I don't do TBRs. I don't very often do TBR videos because I just like to read what I'm more feeling at the time and then take it from there. All right, so let's talk about a couple books that I picked up the last time I went to the library. Also, the last time I went to the library, I don't know what was going on. There were no parking spots available. So normally, like, I go earlier in the day, but where the heck did we go? Me and my partner were running around doing something. Costco? Might have went to Costco and some other places. Anyway, But we get there and it's just like nowhere to park. And I looked up on the thing to see what was going on. There was like some sort of game night with like board games and this, that, and the other. But then there was also like chess club. And I was like, is this why the library is sold out? But you know what? I'm happy my library is thriving and that there was not a single parking space. So I was like, get to know the community library is actually thriving. And I do go to some of their events. Like those are not probably ones I would have went to, but yeah, when I went in, like there was a ton of people waiting in like the room that everyone was supposed to go in. I didn't really see what it was for, but apparently it was full. They weren't letting more people in, and people were all like upset that they couldn't get in and crabbing about that there was nowhere to park. And me, luckily, I'd gone out there with my partner, so he just kind of drove around the parking lot while I returned books, picked up books, and then perused for a few minutes. That was a really long story to tell you about the 2 books that I grabbed while the library was, thriving with grumbly people. Anyways, so I found this one, The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. Really like that cover. Is Party. So, this is a story about a lost story. So, this is inspired by C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia. And I grew up reading The Chronicles of Narnia and I loved Narnia. My favorite is Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So, I saw that little blurb and I was like, okay, well, I love Narnia. So, hopefully, this book doesn't let me down. Some big shoes to fill there. Meg Schaefer. As boys, best friends Jeremy Cox and Rafe Howell went missing in a vast West Virginia state forest, only to mysteriously reappear 6 months later. No explanation of where they've been, because of course, might have been aliens, we don't know, or how they'd survived. 15 years after their miraculous homecoming, Rafe is a reclusive artist who still bears scars inside and out but has no memory of what happened during those months. Meanwhile, Jeremy has become a famed missing persons investigator with his uncanny abilities. He is the one person who can help vet tech Emily Wendell find her sister, who has vanished in the very same forest as Rafe and Jeremy. Jeremy alone knows the fantastical truth that while the rest of the world was searching for them, the 2 missing boys were in a magical realm filled with impossible beauty and terrible danger. He believes that this is where they will find Emily's sister, but for his own inscrutable reasons, Jeremy has kept Rafe in the dark since their return. But why? Why would he do that? However, the time for burying secrets comes to an end as the quest for Emily's sister begins. The former Lost Boys must confront their shared past, no matter how traumatic the memories. Alongside the headstrong Emily, Rafe and Jeremy must return to the enchanted world they called home for 6 months, for only then can they get back everything and everyone that they have lost. And I thought that sounded pretty good. I hope it's very magical because I like magical worlds. So, looking forward to that one. And then I was really drawn to this next one's cover. It looks like a VHS tape. I thought that was pretty cool. So, Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. And yeah, some blood down here. Gross. So it leads me to think it's gonna be like maybe 90s horror vibes, maybe. I don't think I read the synopsis of this. I think I literally just looked at the title and the cover and I grabbed it because there was all those people and my partner was driving around the parking lot. I couldn't take too long, but I wanted to grab a couple books. So let's find out about it together. After their mother passes, 3 estranged siblings reunite to sort out their estate. Beth, the oldest, never left home. She stayed with her mom, caring for her until the very end. Nicole, the middle child, has been kept at arm's length due to her ongoing battle with a serious drug addiction. Michael, the youngest, lives out of state and hasn't been back to their small Wisconsin town since their father ran out of them 7 years before. While going through their parents' belongings, the siblings stumble upon a collection of home videos and decide to revisit those happier memories. I saw the cover of this book. I don't think they're going to be happy. Just guessing. However, see, here comes the big but. The nostalgia is cut short when one of the VHS tapes reveals a night back in 1999 that none of them have any recollection of. On screen, their father appears covered in blood. What follows is a dead body and a pact between their parents to get rid of it before the video abruptly ends. Beth, Nicole, and Michael must now decide whether to leave the past in the past or uncover the dark secret that their mother took to the grave. I don't think they're going to leave the past in the past, you guys. I think they're gonna dig it up. I think that's gonna be fun. Home is where the bodies are. So we'll get back to you on that one and let you know how that goes. So tonight we read about fairies and hobgoblins. I hope I enjoy that book. I don't know if I'll do a full review of that. That might just be like an update in one of my recent reads videos. I'm not 100% sure yet. What are you guys reading? Have you had any really awesome books so far this year? I don't know if I've had good. I haven't had any that have been like super amazing, but we're not that far into the year. So if you like videos where I talk about multiple things that I'm reading or have read, next video coming up will be about that. So stick around, check it out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.